Guys, we were lucky enough to bring in some of the world's best to provide you top-class information. And when it comes to improving your game, don't take chances. Choose quality over everything. And the same goes for when you need a good night's sleep. You could sleep on a normal mattress, or you could choose the best, an M. Lily mattress. Here's a human waking up without an M. Lily mattress. And here's a man that feels and looks superhuman after a good night's rest on an M. Lily.
I know that I am a beast. Better clear these streets.
We're talking about the official mattress for the world-class athletes at Manchester United. This bed is all about performance. So, are you losing games to opponents that you really shouldn't be? Maybe you can't quite solve a problem that should otherwise be very simple. Remember, performance is everything. You play to win, so you better sleep to win. Now let's make sure we understand what we're really saying here. Cooking without an M. Lily bed? Cooking with an M. Lily bed.
Keep up with the city. Keep up with the city, yeah. Reppin' Kansas City, yeah.
Ballin' with an M. Lily bed?
Kick it, flick it, and
Ballin' without an M. Lily bed. These are beds and products made by sleep scientists working around the clock to ensure that M. Lily mattresses surpass the highest standards of performance. M. Lily mattresses are designed to improve oxygen and blood circulation, helping you get a deeper, more regenerative sleep. And their pillows, of course, complement the mattress using cool gel to keep your head cooler at night and memory foam to mold to the millions of micro pressure points along your head and spine. It's a no-brainer what you should be sleeping on. Welcome to the M. Lily world. The greatest sleep experience you will ever have.
Checkmate. Guys, what up? Team GOLUREMI'S is back. We have Robin Thorpe here, sports scientist with Manchester United. Thank you very much for being here. We want to get into some stuff today. This is a really long handshake. Is this a sports science thing? Like, are we getting, like, sucking the energy in? All right, guys, we're going to get into some cool stuff. So let's go. Part of the things on the channel is all the questions and things that we get from guys are ways, they really want to know ways to improve their game. They want to know ways to get faster, to get stronger, to recover quicker. If you had to purchase something that was under $100, a supplement, equipment, is there one thing that you could recommend to guys growing up that want to get better?
I think I would spend nothing.
yeah, and I left my old bitch off of cold shit, but MLB.
For free, getting all the good habits, all the simple things correct. So sleeping well costs nothing. Sleep is the biggest sort of element of recovery.
Right.
It's free. Everyone can sleep for free at night. They can take naps in the afternoon.
Right.
So for me, you wouldn't have to spend anything.
Yeah.
It'd be free, getting all the good habits right. So sleep, nutrition, eating good healthy food, trying to stay away from too many supplements, but obviously keeping protein high, carbohydrates high, and making sure you're getting all your vitamins and minerals through vegetables, salads, things like that.
Okay.
So for me, don't spend anything.
Essentially, you say spend nothing, but I mean, with everything that's being marketed out there, kids are going to have a tendency to want to buy something. So if instead you're directing them towards sleep and you're directing them towards nutrition, then I have to ask more specifically, if I want to regulate my sleep, do you recommend we get up at the same time? Do you recommend, is it better then to focus on what time to go to bed? Where do I start?
I mean, it's a great question because, like, in the research and scientifically, we don't really know how much sleep we actually require in terms of a duration. The thing we do know is if you have less than 6 hours sleep, continually over a period of time, you're at higher risk of illness and things like that, and potentially injury. So if you want to keep performance at the optimal level and be healthy and recover quicker, and getting as much sleep as possible, both during the nocturnal period at night, but also during the day, so having small naps in the afternoon, no more than 1 hour.
No more than 1 hour?
Yeah, if you sleep more than 1 hour typically during the day, you may affect your nocturnal sleep, which is where all the recovery and regeneration occurs. And I mean, the good thing about sleep is it's not just the physical recovery and in terms of the muscles and stuff like that, it's all about the brain as well. So all the memory retention and things you learn throughout the day, it's retained in the brain during sleep.
Okay.
So it's not just physical, it's also mental as well.
Of course. Which is a very good segue into the next part that I wanted to get into. So the mental side of the game, everybody's into it. I meditate like a monk. I basically am psychic now. I have superpowers. I see that you're not flinching by this. Do I look as a person that has superpowers? Because no, but I do meditate like crazy. Yeah, I meditate like crazy, and you know, there's been a huge kick on mindfulness and stuff like that. As far as the guys, for as much as that you can get into, what sort of mental training, mental work do you guys do for the Manchester United players in order to get them to benefit the top of their level?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point again. I mean, obviously recovery for us is not just physical, it's also mental. We play, some players who are playing in the World Cup, they're playing for 12 months throughout the year.
Right.
They have maybe 2-3 weeks off. So that mental fatigue is a massive thing for us. So we're trying our best to try and monitor that and try and understand when the players are obviously at a low point and when they're fresh. But I think with mental fatigue and cognitive readiness, I think it's about what works for the player. I think they have their individual ways of getting their head out of the game. Like you said for yourself, like you love meditation. Some of our players will do some deep breathing techniques.
Okay.
Some just want to stay at home with their family. Some want to go out with their friends.
Right.
Obviously not too much alcohol, but
but it happens.
Yeah, so I think that mental side of it is very individual. And I don't think we should be too forceful in what they should and shouldn't do in that respect. I think other things, in terms of physical recovery, I think we need to push them in the right direction, for sure. But with the mental side, I think we need to understand what works for them and then facilitate that as best we can.
That's cool. And you mentioned deep breathing. There's a huge thing obviously going around the internet. Most people are aware of Wim Hof or Wim Hof, the ice, and I take cold showers, I do all that stuff. And I know obviously all that cold treatment is obviously fairly beneficial for the body, and most clubs that I've played at have had ice tubs and ice baths. All that stuff is available. But when you mention deep breathing techniques, is that something that you could explain in a very quick second? Something for exercise for the guys, maybe if they want to get into something simple?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, your autonomic nervous system is based on two branches, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. So during recovery and regeneration, we want to try and increase and influence the parasympathetic side. So deep breathing can have a direct impact on the vagus nerve, which essentially regulates that parasympathetic side. So that's one of the reasons why some athletes and general people, because obviously everyone's got busy lives and they have jobs, so recovery is not just for athletes, it's for everyday people. So that can help that. But also you mentioned ice baths and stuff. I mean, that's another way we can increase that parasympathetic activity in using ice baths. So the cold water influences that autonomic nervous system in a beneficial way to recover.
Right. So then essentially your after game or day off thing would look like deep breathing training, maybe a little ice bath, maybe a little...
Yeah, depending on the symptoms. I mean, for us at Manchester United, we try and treat the symptoms of the players as well. So
specifically?
Exactly, yeah. We try and monitor, we understand exactly how the players have responded to the training session on the match.
Yeah.
If the players are showing muscle soreness, which is a sign of inflammation, then we want to take them straight into the ice bath, because the ice bath will shut down the blood flow into the deep muscle, hopefully reduce some inflammation and swelling and bleeding, and then hopefully will increase or facilitate that recovery process. If players aren't sore, they're just generally tired and fatigued, heavy legs, we want to try and accelerate blood flow. So mobility work in the pool, or the Normatec, or the compression.
What's this Normatec?
So Normatec, it's a sequential pneumatic compression.
That thing that goes...
Exactly, yeah.
So I've had that, yeah.
So essentially that's just facilitating your natural circulation. So we're trying to get rid of all the waste products that may be pulling in the legs after, say, a game. So if there's no soreness, it's just that type of recovery is needed, then Normatec is a great tool to use.
That's cool. Speaking of nutrition, so on that, how strict are you guys with them? Do you kind of nudge them in the right way before they say, hey, I gotta have a pizza, bro? Like, or... How does that work?
I mean, it's a big question. I mean, that nutrition side there's elements to that which like initially we need to assess them. So look at the body comps. If a player comes back and they maybe have too much sort of body fat, then look to put them on a program which can gradually reduce that, but also keep enough energy to sustain performance in training or games. Following games, and if we're talking about recovery, we want to get as much protein, carbohydrate into the players.
Following games, you're saying?
Yes, straight away in that first sort of half an hour window, but then also every sort of 3 or 4 hours. So if we can keep the protein high every 3 or 4 hours, we're always getting what we call a positive protein synthesis balance. So we're always trying in a building environment, exactly. So, but again, like you say, these players, they need to. Everyone loves a pizza once in a while.
Sure.
We can't be too strict, or else you'll lose that. So yeah, we try and maybe push them to have that sort of food at the right times.
Do you have a specific food, for instance, that you would push on guys? Like, is there something that you really love, or is there a meal or a type of protein that you feel is more efficient for guys? If you had somebody who doesn't know anything.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, I would always recommend get your macronutrients, protein, carbohydrates from food first. And if you're struggling,
talking chicken, you're talking steak, or you're talking
chicken, all white meat, chicken, fish, steak as well, and then carbohydrates through potatoes, cereals, rice, stuff like that. So I mean, you've got this quick release carbohydrates and a slow release. So after a game, straight away we want some quick release. We need that energy into the muscle cell. But thereafter we could do some slow release. It's like whole grain type foods, so it can release either through the night or prolong through the day. But in terms of food, we would advise the players on the different types of meals that would have certain amounts of protein and carbohydrate. But we have players from all over the world, so we don't want to push them into a certain cuisine. So we would say, well, this is from your culture, you like eating this is what it's going to give you. So it's always an individual process, but we let them have an element of choice and preference as well. And going back to the question in terms of what's the best protein, if you're going to supplement, whey protein is typically the best. If you get a good high quality whey protein, it'll get into the muscle cell very quick.
How does one know that it's good and high quality?
Well, essentially, if you go into a store and you look at all the products out there, which is
tons.
So many,
I know,
you need to look for whey or whey isolate on the ingredient list. Or, I mean, it's all based from milk. So if you don't have much money, or like the first question said, if you got a budget or you have $100, drinking milk if you're a kid, it's a great source of protein and also carbohydrate. So that's for me, milk, chocolate milk. Definitely. It's a great, simple, cheaper alternative to the supplements that are available.
Very cool. Last question: if you had to go ahead and, given everything that you have and everything that's available to the Manchester United guys, in the future, let's say if you could speculate on the next 5 years, or what, maybe even 10, what do you see out there from, it doesn't have to be a supplement, it could be some sort of, nanotechnology that fixes everyone's knee right after, or whatever. I don't know what's out there, Is there something that you see that is going to play a huge role in football in general? And sorry, just the follow-up to that, whatever that is there any way for guys that are watching to maybe get into that in some way? Is there any way that they can tap into the future in a sense?
I mean, this day and age there's so much technology out there, and we're in an era of like plug and play, so it's any technology that's out there, it's marketed, you put it in, you use it, and it's going to give you an answer. But the reality is, a lot of the technology doesn't actually tell you anything, or it doesn't say exactly what it's supposed to tell you. So I think you've got to be really careful in what technology you're using, and you're not just following the gimmicks. For us, we monitor the players for fatigue, particularly quite a lot. And the best things are simple things like asking them on a questionnaire, 3 questions, like how fatigued do you feel, how sore do you feel, how well do you sleep. And if you have honest players and you educate them the right way, these simple questions can give you the best answers and basically direct and influence that sort of training process really well. So I think in the future what you'll see is actual microchips embedded underneath the skin, which will give real-time results of blood. So you're looking at glucose, different hormones, maybe muscle damage markers, so immune response. So we can maybe, in a real-time sort of environment, start to pick up where players are at in terms of recovery, fatigue, readiness. I think due to it being underneath the skin,
that's insane.
To be less invasive tools, or having to take blood and prick players and stabbing them. I think it's. I mean, that could be the future. I think some of that sort of stuff is starting to come out in the clinical setting. I think it won't be long before
we see it everywhere.
In sport. I think the US will probably
the first place. All right, guys, you heard it first. Get your microchips. All right, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that.
Cheers.
Awesome. Peace.
Run and kick and flick and go the distance. Outside the box, not afraid to be different. Listen, it's Will John going long, trying to be rich. Hard work pays off.